Hey, Maria, back with another video. It's 3:24 p.m. Saturday afternoon, December 1st. We're almost through the year. My goodness. Anyway, so I just got out of the shower and I'm getting ready to finish my scarf, which I'm excited about, putting tassels on it. And I'm going to start another project right after that. So I'm enjoying myself with the little loom. And I've been watching this lady's videos, loomahat.com. I would have to say she's like the best one that I've seen so far. I mean, there's other tutorials, but I think hers is the best. She's very thorough in explaining them all. Some of the projects I haven't tried, but I'm just kind of looking over them thinking, okay, I think this is good for me because I'm starting out and I'm looking for things that are more for beginners. And, you know, she does step-by-step tutorials. So, I mean, you know, I will gradually progress to more complex projects. But as for now, I'm just kind of getting familiar with it. I'm actually glad that I, you know, made a hat and I'm almost done with this scarf. So I'm really proud of myself. So anyway, so I was thinking today about the video that I made last night. And this is my channel. You know, I'm not trying to dredge things up or anything like that. But, you know, it's very eye-opening to see what people are willing to be dragged, what they're willing to drag themselves into, what they're willing to involve themselves with, just because of some sort of bias. Now, you know, when I think about the whole issue relating to the Facebook incident that happened back in 2008, you know, I think that's a very minor issue. And really, I mean, like I said, I mean, that was the one time I contacted him, never thought about him, didn't talk to him, I stopped looking at his page. I had nothing to do with this person. Completely forgot about him for the most part. So when I think about the anger that his mother displayed towards me, and obviously now I'm starting to realize why she had this sort of anger towards me. And, you know, obviously I don't agree with that sort of lifestyle. But I will say that it shows a lot about this country in general, because if somebody can get their employment manipulated by someone with this sort of lifestyle, what does that say about racism? That people are willing to persecute an innocent woman of color and go along with something that I think is immoral. But, you know, this just goes to show that everything that people try to deny or act as if is not true, because, you know, when you bring up the subject of racism, people get into this process of being in denial. They don't want to believe it. They say, oh, everything's fair. No, racism is a thing of the past. It's not something that is going on in this current day and age. Yes, it is. Okay, if you can get your employment manipulated throughout the United States and possibly around the world, then that just goes to show you how common racism is, okay, on the instruction of a psychotic woman. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, wow, you know. Now, some people might think, well, they might have assumed that, you know, I had something to do with Stephen. I'm going to say his name, Stephen, because my name has been blasted all over the goddamn country and God knows where else. So I'm going to say their names. I don't care. If, you know, the thing is that, the thing is also they assume that everything that they hear is true, or they just assume, like, because somebody is on Facebook at the same time that someone else is on Facebook, because I had my Facebook account back in 2008, and really, so what, right? But people made a big issue out of this. And the thing is that they assumed things about me, and then allowed themselves to use racism is what motivated these people to do what they did. And they might have said, well, you know, I just didn't know her very well. I didn't know that this isn't true, but why did you go along with it? Ask yourself why you went along with it, because you obviously felt as though this particular woman had more, was more respectable. And the reason why you thought this person was more respectable and trustworthy and allowed yourself to do this is because you have some sort of racial bias. So this is a reality that people, like I said, in this situation, you cannot deny it. It cannot be denied. It can't be disputed. It can't be ignored, you know. So I'm living proof of this denial that people live in, you know, and it's a very profound discovery. It's actually kind of interesting in a way, but I'm really like I'm looking at these people and I'm thinking, oh my God, you know, like I haven't thought about these people in years. She just thought that I was, you know, communicating with her son, which I did write him the letter back in 2008. So what? So what? You know, if it was an issue of my race, well, then just let it go. I mean, obviously, if he wasn't into dating black women or whatever, then just let it go. But this woman had to take charge. And that sounds like the kind of jealousy that would be created only if there's some sort of amorous tie in between those two people. Okay? Which obviously I've told you before. I don't agree with that sort of lifestyle. So, you know, I just like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm starting to think, is this sort of practice very common among certain groups of people? Because I'm starting to think so. I mean, as you know, I left a relationship for that very reason. And now I'm finding out this is also the case. And for people to take the side of a woman who they probably knew that this is how this woman was, then people are basically saying that this is okay. Whereas this person who is completely innocent and did nothing wrong is the one who gets persecuted. So we're dealing with racism. So, yeah, very, very eye-opening. It is extremely eye-opening. Not because that I'm surprised that racism doesn't exist. I mean, obviously it does. But if somebody has the power and control, who can gain control of a person's life and manipulate it in the way that they did, without anybody questioning, anybody, you know, saying, is this right? But just taking their word. You know, obviously, you know, when you deal with certain individuals, okay, like, for example, me, okay? I'm a person who pretty much minds their own business. You know, I go out of my house when I need to, take care of my stuff when I need to. I have no connection to the people that I used to know in any way. But that didn't matter because somehow or another I must have, you know, offended this woman, and she had other people jump in on this issue, you know, and that's another issue that I really get annoyed with, because it's like, it's a cowardice thing to use other people to fight your battles, okay? Obviously, if this woman felt as though she was slighted, which I think is funny when I think about it, she felt as if she was slighted, then you come up to me and deal with the issue, okay? And I would have said, oh, I apologize for contacting your son, who's is more than, you know, the age of, is able to consent to having a relationship with me or to communicate with me. And I would have been like, okay, well, whatever. You know, I'm not somebody who's unreasonable, you know. But what this whole issue that happened, that was going on around me that I had no idea of. Like, I haven't spoken to, I never really knew David. I don't know his brother Doug, and I believe that he's involved in this as well. Elsie, like I said, I've only met her 2 times. I remember calling her on the phone, well, not calling her, but like trying to talk to Steven, but freaking out and then hanging up the phone when I was younger, okay? Which is what people do, okay? That's what you do when you're a young kid and you're scared and you're nervous and you're whatever. But other than that, I mean, I don't, you know, but the sort of behavior that this woman is exhibiting can only come, I'll tell you what, if someone was interested in my child, okay, and maybe, you know, I don't have those sort of feelings of vengefulness towards women that would approach my child, because, you know, whether I like them or not. Now, I would be concerned as whether or not they would be good to my child, and they would be, you know, faithful to my child and loving to my child. That's the things I would care about. But I wouldn't have this, you know, this vindictive type need to control someone, unless, of course, that is the only kind of that kind of behavior only comes from women who are jealous of and feel threatened to lose their relationship. And it has to be of an amorous sort of relationship, because I can't understand it any other way. So, yeah, that's very strange to me. And it's like, my eyes are open. Like, every so often, I'll come to these revelations about certain people, certain things, things that happened to me in the past, and then looking back and thinking, oh, okay. But I would say this is pretty eye-opening to me, because it's like, I never thought, I always thought very well of him. I thought she was like a nice homemaker. I think she did nursing or something like that on the side or whatever. I don't remember. But, I just felt like she was just a good person, and now I'm looking back and looking at this and I'm thinking, oh my God. And then we've got her kids participating in all of this. What is the deal? Okay, I wasn't paying attention. I've seen his Facebook post, okay, just since the last year. I've been looking at his Facebook page because I kept thinking, well, if he's contacting me, I want to get to know him. Well, why not get to know him? So then I started looking at his Facebook page. I would say like late 2016 or somewhere around there. But all the other years that this shit was going on, I had no idea. None, And out of sight, out of mind. I don't think about people that I don't communicate with. It's like, as far as I was concerned, I left everything behind, and I didn't think about, the people I used to know. Every once in a while I would get on Facebook and say hi to like one of my friends or something like that, but I don't communicate with these people, so maybe she felt threatened by me, I think that's, because that's the only thing I can think of. Why would somebody do this? Why would somebody do what they did? And it is very disturbing to me. It's disturbing because it's another form of psychotic rage, and it's psychotic. I know a little bit about the family history, thinking about a particular story that I'm not going to go into. But the more I think about it, the more I can understand what happened in that family. And I'm quite disturbed by it. So I think this might be one of those families that lack empathy. Because obviously, if these people were able to have access to surveillance in my house, which Karen did, everyone did, if they have all of this access and they know that they are doing something against my will, why are you doing it? Unless, of course, you're trying to do something to provoke me. And it was unjustified, completely unwarranted, I'm starting to see who these people are. And I'm like, wow, I would have never thought in a million years that was the case. And just because somebody has psychic abilities or strong intuition doesn't mean that. Like, unless, of course, you have some sort of link or connection with that person, you don't read into them. But when I realized that he was around, like this whole situation, then I started, like, tuning myself in. And little by little, things became revealed to me, and it makes sense. So I can understand why, when I sat here and invited him over, for holidays or whatever, why he wouldn't come. Because I understand that his mom, number one, is extremely possessive of him in what I consider to be a very strange way. Number two, she's ashamed of herself, because obviously she did all of this stuff. She committed a huge crime, and she's afraid to face the music. But yet she's all brave and has people saying and doing things to me because she's too cowardice to do it. Just absolutely wow. Mind blowing. So things work out in certain ways for a reason, Obviously, I'm never going to see the cute guy again. And I'm going to just refer to him as Stephen Lyles. I'm never going to see him again. And nor do I really want to at this point. Only because I think that he might have a good side to him. But, as I obviously know, okay, that when people are in these sort of weird relationships, they tend to have this, I don't know, a relationship with their parent that to me is just a little too weird. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm not trying to judge people. I mean, if people are consenting adults, that's their business, okay? But I don't have to participate in stuff like that. I don't have to agree with that sort of stuff. I just don't, you know. So I'm wondering, you know, I'm sitting here getting persecuted, being harassed, I was getting harassed, especially when it came to the job interview thing. Why am someone like me being persecuted when this person is a criminal? Now, I'll tell you why. Because we're dealing with racism. That's why. So anyway, going to wrap up this video. I'm going to finish my scarf, and then I'm going to roll out another project. I'm looking forward to working with this purple yarn. Changing colors kind of makes me happy because it's like, you know, I've been working with the same teal and brown and beige mixture for quite a while, and now I'm like wanting to look at something else and do something different. So I will wrap this video up, and I will be back with another video later. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.